All right, so today for your reading mini lesson, we are going to be talking about informational text, and you are going to be reading some informational text today, but I want to share with you a little bit about an informational text structure called chronological order. Now, most of you know what that means. It means the events are told in the story or the text in a chronological fashion, so it goes in order of time and dates and everything like that. So if you take a look here, one of the things that I want you to understand is that when authors write, they organize their text in different ways depending on their purpose and their topic. Chronological order is used by authors to show the sequence in which events happen. And you are going to be using, and the text structure of the story that you are reading today is about explorers. And it makes sense for the author to put it in chronological order because it shows us who explored first, then what happened next because of them exploring, and so on and so on. So the skill you're going to be looking at today and reading, and it will help you answer the questions, is chronological order. So what I want to do with you today is I want to look through a short passage that's written this way, and then we're going to look and see how we can identify the events in chronological order. So here's the text. And this text is about Sojourner Truth, and I'm sure that most of you have heard about her. She was a fighter for freedom. So I'm just going to read this to you, and then I'm going to point out some places after we read the whole thing, how we know that what came first, what came second, because even without dates, there's still ways to determine how it's a chronological order. So there's keywords, and we're going to look at some of those as well. So it will help you with your reading today about explorers. So I'm just going to read this with you. Like many slaves, Sojourner Truth spent much of her young life unable to read or write. At the age of 30, Sojourner already had 5 children. Although her master promised her freedom, he changed his mind. At this point, she decided to run away to New York. While there, she earned money as a maid and cook. Sojourner was much happier, but she wanted more. As time passed, she felt a calling. Sojourner left New York at age 46 to go on a lifelong trip. She left with a bag of clothes and 25 cents. She would go on to give speeches for freedom and against slavery for more than 30 years. She also went to the country's first meeting on women's rights. President Lincoln was so impressed with Sojourner that he invited her to the White House. Whether it was her singing gospels in Dutch, quick wit, her tall appearance, or her deep voice, Sojourner stood apart from the rest. Crowds followed her on her travels through 21 states. She funded her travels by selling her life story. So if you take a look, if we look up here, one of the first things I noticed, it said at age 30. So it gives us a time so that we know, okay, she was 30 at the beginning of this passage. Then later on in the passage, we had words like as time passed, so we know that time went on. She was 46 now when this happened, when she decided to go on a lifelong trip. And then in the next paragraph it tells us she gave speeches for more than 30 years. And it tells us, I didn't want to do that, sorry. It tells us that she was invited to the White House later, and that she was just, did things to help women's rights. The last paragraph doesn't really have anything to do with our, anything that indicates time. We just know that it was talking about everything that she had done so far. So when you are looking at the text today that you are going to be reading, I want you to pay attention specifically to dates, because since it's an explorer passage, there will be dates from Spain sailed at this date, and the Dutch sailed here. And then you're going to have some questions to read that are an answer that will be giving you, or you will find information by using the dates in the passage. So just understand that authors of informational text use this text structure of chronological order on purpose because it makes it easier for you to understand. So just like in this case of Sojourner Truth, it made it easier, for us to understand what happened in her life and how her life went through starting at age 30. Wasn't when she was little, but we know what happened from age 30 on because she was a very influential person in fighting freedom. So as you're reading the Explorer passage today, if you want to annotate on it and highlight keywords like first, next, then, things that indicate to you, here's what happened first, here's what happened second, here's what happened third. Also, if you want to highlight dates to help you understand. Another thing that I would do if I was you is I would read through the questions that are on the second page first to help you understand what you were looking for when you were reading. It gives you a purpose for what you are doing. So please, as you're reading the text today, try your best, and if you have to, read it a couple of times. But I would definitely look at those questions first before you get started so that you understand exactly what you're looking for. And then as you hit them throughout the reading, you can answer the questions. So please do your best. Good luck. Take your time. And I can't wait to see what you come up with.